I have got a PhD in life. I'm spending my whole weekend in my pajamas and I'm not doing shit. You don't pay my bills or suck my dick. So like, what do I care what some random person on the internet thinks of me? A new year, new me. You gotta have some fun. God, Tim, everything you touch just like is amazing. And I want to tell that person, no the fuck it's not. I'm only trying to make one fucking person happy, and that's Tim Castleman. Well, hello, everybody. This is Tim Castleman with Tim Talks, and this was certainly not recorded moments after I poured my heart out about my visit to go see my dad, my biological dad. Whenever I refer to my parents, by the way, that's going to be mom and stepdad. And then when I talk about dad, I'll try to do bio dad in there just to confuse the shit out of you. It's Game of Thrones. Get a fucking chart, a map, and start, don't be afraid to write this shit down every once in a while. I had an ant bite me or something. My fucking thumb is itching, and my what is happening right now? Maybe it's the antibiotics. Maybe I'm turning into a crackhead, and I'm going to get all itchy and scratchy, and oh my God, what's happening? Let's talk about Las Vegas. Now look, I live in Lubbock, Texas. It tells me it's 13 hours door to door to get me to Lubbock, to Las Vegas, and I said, you know what? I think you a liar, Google. Sure, you got roads and you've had cars on every street and X and Y and Z, but you a liar. You a liar, baby. But I bet it's quicker to go down from Oregon to Las Vegas. And we got a snowstorm coming. We got to get the hell out of Dodge. It's going to be our birthday on Monday. Why don't we go celebrate it in Sin City? We'll just go there. We'll stop on by, play a few games of poker and roulette and blackjack. Not a roulette guy, actually. Poker and blackjack. And then we'll get out of town and we'll keep headed home. Because we're going to go nice and slow, right? So I click on the deal and it's like, hey, Oregon to Vegas, 15 hours. And I'm like, shit. Okay, all right, let's start the journey. We'll see how far we get. We're going to go different this time. We're not going to speed, right? We're on the way home. We're going to go nice and low and slow. And hell, it may take us a week to get home. It may take 2 weeks. I don't know. But here's what I do know. We're going to do it low and we're going to do it slow. So I fill up for $4.69 a gallon in Oregon. And I go, God, I'm so grateful that I'm getting out of here so I can get away from the high cost of gas. Little thing I forgot about in Oregon, they pump the gas for you. So I'm out there trying to pump my own gas, and the guy's like, hey, you got it? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And then I realize, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. I forgot this is your job. My apologies, etc., etc. I can pump my own gas. Thank you very much. By the way, since I'm pumping my own gas, do you feel like I could get it for a cheaper price than $4.69 a gallon? Which would cause my mom and stepdad to have a heart attack when they hear this price. So, start the journey down most of the day. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. Go through Oregon. Don't go through the passes. Thought about going Highway 1. If I could redo it, I probably would have, because fuck it, why not? It's so beautiful. But I was worried about the passes and snow and, the unknown and blah, the fucking blah. I just didn't know. I was like, get me to Sin City where the girls are cheaps and the winds are aplenty. Is that how that song goes? I don't think so at all. Sorry, I'm trying to saw my thumb off right now. So we start driving, we'll keep driving, we're through Oregon. That's awesome. Then we go down, and before I know it, it's like, hey, you're in Nevada. And I'm like, well, that's great. I'm like, let me see how quick we can get to Sin City, still 12 hours away. Huh. All right, well, the sun hasn't gone down yet. Okay, now it's gone down, and we keep driving. Finally, I get exhausted, and I go, oh, man, I don't think I can drive anymore. And I look at the little GPS. It's like, you're 2 hours away from Vegas. And I go, I don't want to show up to Vegas at 4 a.m. tired. I want to show up to Vegas for 4 a.m. energized, ready to rock, ready to roll. Whenever I show up with my $100 in a system to bring Vegas to its knees, so I got to stop. I passed several military bases, several military-looking bases. I don't know. I'm not asking questions. I'm not trying to get interrogated and waterboarded, right? I just reconnected with my biological father. You think I'm trying to spend the rest of my time in life in Guantanamo Bay having to Morse code fucking messages to the outside? No, thank you. Instead, what I would like is to just arrive alive. So I see a little thing. It's that gas station 20 miles up ahead. Rest area 20 miles ahead. I'm like, we'll just pull in there, get another good night's sleep. It's only 50 degrees outside, so maybe I won't freeze to death with no full-time heat in the RV. So we make it there, and I realize, oh, shit, I'm on fumes. I need to get some gas. So I stop by the gas station. Area 51 headquarters. Well, this is weird. Okay, all right. Let me just put my $5.29 a gallon gas in. Luckily, they're worried about running out of gas there, so they only let the people fuck you for 20 gallons at a time, apparently, because that's all I could get out of it, thank God. But while I'm sitting there, I'm like, what's that? Area 51 headquarters, that's cool, but what's that other sign that's over there? And why are all these truckers out in the middle of nowhere stopped? I don't understand this. I look around, and I'm like, there's not a single car here. It's all long road, over-the-road truckers, probably 12 to 15 of these trucks parked in the parking lot. I'm like, what the hell's going on over there? Then I see with a dimly lit light the sign, and it's like Area 51 brothel. And I'm like, what? I'm like, now look, I've been fortunate enough to watch HBO and see the old, I think it was called Cat Town with the owner of that place. His name fucking escapes me. It's hilarious because the only reason he ever opened that place or bought that place is because Subway wouldn't sell him a franchise. And he was like, well, I want to buy something. Used to be a club promoter. Now I want to get into a serious business. I want to buy a Subway franchise. They say no. Then he buys the Cat House brothel and becomes, I think, the biggest brothel in the world and blah, 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 blah. That was not this place, right? That place looked somewhat classy, interesting. This place looked like a place where if you didn't pay what they told you to, they were going to stab you and throw you in the Area 51 museum as a casualty. Just like, oh, yeah, those are real body bags with real people in them, of people who didn't pay the fucking fee. And you're like, okay, well, this is disconcerting. Luckily for me, there's a rest area 1 mile across the street, not even 1 mile, it's just literally across the street. So I spent the night in this rest area where all these truckers were getting blown, sucked and fucked and all that shit at this brothel. And a brothel, and again, you have to understand there is nothing around. There's not like, oh, there's a cute little town. These people, not only the people that are coming in for service, the people that are coming into service have to come in from parts unknown to make this happen. And I don't know about you, but I got to imagine if your job prospect is only out in the middle of an Area 51 type area, type thing, we're not talking grade A talent here. We're not talking about the best of the best, the brightest of the brightest, the most beautiful women imaginable. Oh, no. Instead, we're talking about some real woofs, right? Some real wolf pussy. Just some real slump busters. So I declined the ability to get herpes, AIDS, and gonorrhea all at once. And instead said, hey, what we need to do is go to sleep. And the second the sun rises, we need to get the fuck out of here. And that's exactly what we did. Woke up the next morning, made the 2-hour drive in to Las Vegas, arrived there on fumes, but it's okay, baby, because I'm just going to park this bad boy in the Flamingo parking lot, get myself one of them fancy $29 a night rooms so no one can tell me shit, and go on about my day. Except, now you have to remember, okay, I'm on fumes, and this isn't like, the not check engine light, the fuck do you call that? The gas light. The low gas light is on, and this isn't like cars of today where you're like, oh, the gas is low. I probably have 100 miles to go. No, this thing's like low gas. If you don't fill up within the next 5 miles, I'm going to leave your ass stranded. So I'm like, well, that's okay. I'll be able to park here. And then in my mind, I've worked out this whole refueling system. I got it. So I pull into the Flamingo parking lot, probably have, an ounce of gas left. And they're like, height restriction, 6-foot limit on vehicles. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, this RV is a little bigger. I mean, I'm 5'6", and I already know this thing is 6'6" limit. I don't have it. There's more than a foot on this motherfucker still to go. So then I have to back up. Luckily, people in Vegas are so understanding when you screw up, and no one honked at me or cursed at me or wished my family would go fuck themselves repeatedly as I backed up. But I did. Then I made my way down to Old Familiar. Oh, Nelly. You see, back in the day when I was a broke kid, I used to come to Vegas every so often, and I stay at the place called the Tuscany Suites. And ooh, these suites were amazing. They were beautiful. They were awesome. If you'd never been to any good quality hotel in Las Vegas. Spacious as shit, far away from everything, cheap this, cheap gambling, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go down memory lane. It also happened to be where several seminars when I first took place in. That's where we took place at them. It was awesome. So I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just going to go park in the parking lot, and I'm going to just go play me some cards and, have myself a quick breakfast, and then we'll get on the road. So I pull in the parking lot, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to get in trouble, so I might as well book a room. That way, if we want to stay here, in fact, we are. We've already decided, you know what? Our day trip's going to be extended to an overnight trip. We'll get up bright and early the next day and get on the road. And wouldn't you know it, the Tuscany Suites has cheap-ass rooms, $30 a night rooms, actually good quality rooms for that much. But once you add the tax and, of course, the resort fee for things like slow-ass internet, a gym, and other shit you're not going to use, it's over like $100 for the night. But I was like, you know what? No enclosed parking here. They can't yell at me for having the RV. This will work. So pay my fee. I go in to check in. They go, yes, sir, check-in's not for 7 more hours. I'm like, great. Direct me to your poker room. And he's like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, cards. No Limit Hold'em. The movie Rounders. Surely you understand. The World Series of Poker. Like, I feel like I'm about to have to draw this guy a fucking diagram. And he goes, oh, no, sir. We don't have any man-made thing like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Are you from the future? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, we don't have table games here. We don't have cards. We don't have human dealers. You can play whatever you want as long as it's slots or electronic blackjack or roulette. And I was like, I'm good. I'm good on that. So now what are we going to do? Well, the first thing I realized is I'm starving. And since I've already given up on cooking on this trip, because now I have propane, by the way. Makes a world of difference. Keeps the place nice and warm. Of course, the battery still sucks, so, 50% of the problem fixed, that's fine. So I'm like, well, where do I go for a breakfast feast? I mean, it is my birthday. 43, by the way. Happy birthday. Quit bragging. Where do I go? Well, I go to the only place that can satisfy a hunger this deep. A little place called Hash House A Go-Go. This place serves portions so big, even Justin Burns can't finish them. The food is so good and so legendary. So I walk up there, got a huge line. I walk up, I go, hey, I'm just one person. Can I sit at the bar? She goes, it's your birthday, baby. You can do whatever you want to do. And I was like, really? And that's not what she said at all. She was like, yes, go sit over there. Fuck off. I was like, great, cool. So I sit up there. I order my meal, get my chicken, which is a whole chicken and waffles. Eat that, devour that. And I'm like, I'm ready now. I'm fully rested. I got a place to lay my head tonight. Take a shower, recharge all my electronics. I'm ready. Let's fucking go. It's time to bring Vegas to its knees. It's time to get written up in all the magazines. Let's hit the tables. So I take my money and I start heading towards the blackjack table and I go, that's interesting. So I walk up to the lady. I said, young lady. I start talking like that because I'm 43 now. I'm like, excuse me, youngin'. Excuse me, child. Excuse me, baby doll. Excuse me, little one. Excuse me, little scoot. I notice this table here is a high roller table for $25 American. I'm sorry. I'm not dressed for the high roller suites. I did not realize I was going to immediately walk into them upon walking into the casino. I am just curious, where would the low stakes blackjack, the $5 blackjack, Where would that occur? And without missing a beat, she goes, oh, sweetie, that was 1999. Things have changed. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she goes, yeah, here at Caesars. No, excuse me, the Q. The minimum during a weekday in the slowest period of time is $20. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, what? And she goes, yeah, $20 a hand blackjack. And I was like, oh, that's a little, I have a few $100, not $1 million. I just want to pay some back. Yeah, but I can't, I don't want to lose a house payment. Instead, I decided, you know what? Plan B. Different set of magazines, same plan. Gonna bring Vegas to its knees. I was like, well, thank you, madam. I think I'll take my business elsewhere. So that's exactly what I did. I walked my happy fat ass over to Caesars. I walked in, saw another dealer, said, excuse me, sir, could you point me to your poker room? He goes, it's right over there, sir. Happy birthday. And I was like, well, thank you. Then I realized like 20 minutes later, wait a minute, how the fuck did you know it was my birthday? So I walk in the poker room and I go, hello, gentlemen. You may have heard of me as the Texas gunslinger, keeping down the 7s and the 2s in the deck. I'm here to celebrate my birthday. And I'd like the finest game of 1-2 no limit that you offer. And he goes, well, sir, congratulations. 1-2 ended in 1999. And I'm like, what the fuck has happened? I don't understand what is going on with Vegas, but tell me more. Well, now we got 1-3. And I'm like, oh, I can do 1-3. It's only an extra $1. How much could it? I mean, I'll buy in for $100. The minimum buy-in's $250. Oh, okay. Here's some money for me. Yes, I'll give you the $250 I have with me. And I'd like you to point me to the table where I'll be taking all their money. And he goes, I got just the seat for you. A seat just opened up. Let me take you there. So he takes me over there and he goes, $250 behind. And I'm like, yeah, $250, baby. Woo! Hey, losers, how you doing? I'm Tim. Nice to meet you. I'll be taking all your money today. And as I'm looking around the table, I'm doing a little math. It seemed to me that my beginning stack of 250 was, in some cases, 1/8 or 1/10 of the amount that these guys had on the tables. And I thought, well, wait a minute. Maybe it's my mismatched clothes or the fact that I haven't showered in 24 hours that these guys keep putting me in these high roller games. So the guy comes over. I say, excuse me, sir. I didn't want to be sat at the final table of the World Series of Poker. What I was looking to do, if that was okay with you, is I wanted to join a friendly game, a beginner's game, a 1-3 where we all bought in for like $250 and we all had similar stacks. I did not realize that you had set me at the final table here, but I would like to be put on a table where I have what's known as a chance. And he goes, oh, sir, don't worry. You're going to fit in here just fine. And that's when I knew I was fucked. It was actually the only table open, and I was like, you know what? That's okay. This system works anywhere. I'm so fucking sure of it and that it's going to work. I ain't scared that I'm the smallest chip stack almost at the table. I'm here to have a good time. It's my birthday. How serious could these guys be? It's like 11 o'clock in the morning. Now, before the World Series of Poker was a thing, and before poker was on TV and you knew guys like Daniel Negreanu as a household name, you could go to poker and play against other low-limit players and have a chance, if you will, to make some money. But now I truly believe there are so many people in Las Vegas trying to earn a living. Not there for fun and enjoyment, they're there for employment. Playing poker, that unless you come and you're sharp as a fucking tack and you got the wad and the balls behind you, you do much better, and I do mean much better, by taking your money and either immediately lighting it on fire or spending it to see a show, dispensary, or a fancy meal. Because if you don't do that, you're just going to slowly donate it. And that's what I did over the course of several hours, just chitting in a chat and had a great time. Fun group to lose my money to. That's all I really care about. Let me have some fun. Let me enjoy this loser's experience and see what happens. So I sit down, talk to a guy who's telling me about how he's there on comps and tells me his blackjack strategy, which begins with, well, what you got to do is just take out $1,500. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, sir. Did you say 1,500 to start? Oh, and then play through the deck and the this and the that and the, oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds great. I won't be doing that, but I'm glad it worked for you. And then you see another guy that's a player and another and another. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. So I lost my money there. I said, well, that's okay. You know, you got to take one on chin every once in a while. Look at that. My hotel room's probably ready for me to go check in. Let me go see it. Let me go see. So I go check into my room. It's beautiful. It's spacious. It's gorgeous. It's actually a very nice room for what you pay. And even if you paid more for it, it's still a nice room. Plug in all my electronics so they can charge. And I go, you know what? It's my birthday. I can do whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want, except for smoke weed or bring dogs into this, because you guys have already told me it's a $450 fine. $450. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that. So I'm like, you know what I'd like to do to celebrate is sit down and take a nap. So that's what I did on my birthday. I know it's exciting. I lost some money, went to go eat, lost some money, took a nap, got up, took a shower, and then I said, you know what? It's time for a night session. It's time for a night session of poker, and it's time to eat again. It's been 8-10 hours. Luckily for me, across the room, across the street actually, a little Fogo de Chao. I'm sorry, what? All I can eat meat for $69.95? Well, you can just sign me right the fuck up. So I walk over there like a baller does, and I go, hi, Tim Castleman, today's my birthday. No need to say happy birthday. I would like a table for one. And I see an open table right there, and I'll take that if it's available. And she goes, you know what, sir? You're in luck. We just happen to have that table available, and you're more than welcome to sit there. And sit there, I did. And as I'm sitting there and waiting for the waitress to come, I notice what could only be described as several busloads of people coming in all at once. And what had happened was there's a big convention going on in Vegas. That's no surprise. The surprise is that one of the places there booked Fogo de Chao for like a group meal or meeting of several hundred people. So before I know it, all these people are filing right by that table that I'm sat at that's now being used as part of the registration process. And I'm like, well, this is fun. I get dinner and a show. I'm here for this. I can handle this. We can do it. Lady comes over. I said, do you have Coke products? She goes, we do. I said, bless you. I'll take a Diet Coke and a plate and all the meat you can serve me. And she says, yes, sir, I'll be right back with that plate. And won't you know, within 20 minutes, I got my own plate because she didn't ever come back. I sat there and I turned a little thing over. If you've never been to Fogo de Chao, I understand. I'm about to explain to you how American luxury works, right? Red, green. Green means go, give me everything. Red means leave me alone, I'm taking a break. So I turned this bad boy over to green. And the only thing good about being around this huge party and event is that's where all the meat people were going. But before they went in there, they stopped by Timmy's table because it was my birthday, after all. And do I want this? Do I want picanha? Do I want sirloin? Do I want chicken? Do I want the yes, 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 yes. Shoot this club up. Dun, 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 dun. All about it, all the meats, all the meats, all the meats. This is amazing. This is fantastic. This is great for about 12 minutes. And then my body said, oh, Nelly, I'm getting full. And I'm like, the fuck you are. I took you to a buffet with all the meats, baby, because that's what I want you to eat is all the meats. I want this location to report a loss today, despite the thousands of people that they served, because of me. And then it occurs to me, I didn't bring my peace pipe with me. My little purple burnt river farms vape, my little appetite expander, I didn't bring it with me. I left it in the room. So I couldn't just take a hit and try to expand my stomach. So I tried. I said, I'm going to do the antenaro pause. Just give me a few minutes. Sit here, pause, then I'll finish up eating. And I tried to go for round 2, and I couldn't. I never felt my age more in this life than in all things that I enjoy now. Not just sex, that it's just not possible for me to go 2 rounds. You get one decent to disappointing round depending on how much energy I have, and then that's it. And I'm not just talking about sex, I'm talking about food, relationship. It's like, look, if you want to cuddle, I'll cuddle with you up until 8 p.m. and then we're going to sleep. Right? 43 just hitting me right in the chest immediately. And I go, I will not be down. I will not let this down be taken down. Sure, I lost at the poker tables early. Yes, I'm staying several miles off the strip because this is the only place my RV could fit in to the crowd. Yes, I did walk myself to my own birthday dinner, which I promptly ate in less than 20 minutes, and they definitely made money off of me. But we're going to bring it back around. I'm going to stop off at the ATM. I'm going to deposit some magic bucks, and then we're going right back into poker. But we're not going back to Caesars. Oh, no. We scared them enough earlier. We're going to go to Bally's or whatever Bally's is now because they've redone their poker room, and it's so great and it's so new, and you got to go check it out. So check it out, I did. And I'll be damned if 4 of the 8 players that I was playing with over at Caesars earlier were now over here. And that's when I got to thinking, maybe poker ain't my game. But I said, I don't know. I got this system. Let me sit down, try to win some money. I won some money, lost some money, won some money, lost some money, won some money, and then lost it all again. And I just had a lowly $100 American dollars left. And I was like, it's okay. Let's go home. We can lick our wounds. We can get up tomorrow, go eat at Ellis Island, commemorative lunch or breakfast, depending on what time we arrive, and then we'll get on the road and get out of here. So I went to bed that night, slept like $1 million, right? It was nice to have heat and AC at my disposal at all times. I was like, this must be how the Rockefellers lived. Checked on the dogs. They were doing great and fine, by the way. Next morning, I get up, take a shower, get suited and booted, throw all my shit in the RV, and I go, hey, pups, here's some food and water. Don't worry. I'm just going to go play. I'm just going to go eat. And then I'll be right back and we'll start the trek home. So I head over to Ellis Island. My parents call and go, where are you? I'm like, I'm just out right now. They're like, no, where are you? I'm like, you really want to know? And they're like, yeah. I was like, I'm in Ellis Island. And you go, what the fuck's the big deal about that? For many years, on Thanksgiving, I would take my parents out, or they would take us out. We'd alternate years, and we would go to Ellis Island for Thanksgiving dinner because that's where my dad was convinced they had the best prime rib and the best beer. Short story long, we would do that on Thanksgiving in place of doing a big Thanksgiving meal. It was real fun. It was real awesome. So I was real leery to tell my parents that I was having fun without them. But I'm a 43-year-old male now, and I can be independent and off mama's tail whenever I wanted to. So I thought, I'm at Island. And they're like, what? I can barely hear. I was like, I'm at Island. And I told them, and they were like, oh, that's great. And I'm sure my mom wrote it in her book of keeping track. And she's like, that motherfucker went to Ellis Island without, right? Same woman who got upset that I didn't take my dad to Vegas since 2019. And I'm like, well, okay, we had the pandemic, remember? Yeah. So, have my meal at Ellis Island. And I'm like, you know what? Feel that pocket burning. Whoa, Nelly. Whoa. Visions of that spare $100 bills. And I go, poker ain't my game. I'm going to retire from poker effective immediately. It's just not my game. I suck at it. I'm the worst. Instead, here's what I like to do. I like to have all the cameras on me while I sit down at this blackjack table and I proceed to run them out of money. And wouldn't you know it, because it's a locals casino, sort of. Wouldn't you know it, they got $5 blackjack. So I sit down with a group of people and I go, hey, how you doing? Tim from Texas. Be taking everybody's money here except for us. We're all going to take her money. But I'm going to be the lead person to take her money. So if y'all could just, remember that, I'd appreciate it. And she goes, oh, yeah. Well, great. Fantastic. We're up. We're down. We're having drinks. We're having fun. The table is awesome. Again, I don't mind losing my money. I just want to have a good time doing it. The dealers are fun. The people that we're playing with, no one's serious at a $5 table, right? You shouldn't be. I mean, did we get serious? Yes. Did they eventually have to bring in the cooler multiple times to try and break us all down? Like, they'd give us a little bit of money and then they'd take it all away. I was like, you guys must know my ex-wife. Pretty well to do this. Wanted to marry one of the girls. I was there long enough that she did 3 rotations at the table, and by the 3rd time, I was like, I think I'm going to propose to this girl right now. And I didn't, because I'm a ginormous pussy. And I didn't feel like telling her, hey, I got 2 dogs shitting and pissing all of my RV at the old Tuscany Suites. I was wondering if you maybe wanted to roll over there so we could walk to Fogo de Chao for a meal together where we could split some type of plate policy. What is your split plate policy? What is going on? So, yeah. Played on that $100 for 7 fucking hours. Had a great time. Should have got up several times when I was like up $50 or whatever. Of course I didn't, and that's okay. Because that's part of the system, right? I donate early, right? Every trip I've been to Vegas, you donate early. You donate early. You donate early. Well, I've been donating every time I've gone there. So eventually, one of these times, I know that they're going to give it back to me. Not all of it, just some of the tens and tens of thousands of dollars I've spent there, I'm sure. Had a great time, regardless. Leave brokenhearted and destitute, like Vegas likes to always leave me. And then decided to start making the trip on home. Make it all the way to Arizona, stop at a random Safeway parking lot, fall asleep in there. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Wake up the next morning, no ticket on the front. That's good. That's great. Leave said parking lot. But before I do, I see a sign and it says, hey, Grand Canyon, 67 miles away. Well, fuck, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to add a destination to our trip. It would be foolish not to go see a giant crater or whatever the hell it is in Oregon. So don't you know, we take a right instead of a left, and 67 miles later, sure as shit, we're at the Grand Canyon. Thanks to my military service, I was able to get in for free. Thank you. Taxpayers, appreciate that. Park the RV, walk out to the little walk area. It says, look, you can walk 6 miles down to this area, or you can walk like 0.2 miles to this one area and then take a tram to the other areas. I'm like, I like that. I like option 2, right? So what I do is I go out there to the 0.2 location. I see a little rock. I stand up there and I'm trying to take photos and all that, and I'm listening to music and trying to be a loner and all this stuff, and I get all what the kids today would call fucked up, discombobulated. By the way, totally sober when I did this. And I just proceed to fall flat on my fucking face. Now, luckily, it was slow-mo. Knees, wrist, whatever. But here I am, celebrating my 43rd and 1 day birthday, plus 1 day birthday. And I got people looking at me like I'm 76 years old. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm an idiot, totally sober. Also nice that I feel like I have to announce it. We're totally sober, just an idiot. Just, I don't know, vertigo hit me. I don't know what the fuck happened, but here's what I do know is happening. I'm creepy crawling my way up, and here we go. So I get myself back up, I do that, and I go, okay, well, now it's time to go look at the big rock, right, and the big hole and all that stuff. So I walk down a little area, and I'm like, hey, there's the people that helped me up. Hey, good, yeah, no, I haven't fallen in the last 4 minutes. I know, yeah, let's talk about it. It's not embarrassing. Keep bringing it up, louder, though, because the new people haven't heard about my embarrassment. And I'm like, cool, well, let me just look over at the Grand fucking Canyon. Wow, that's a big fucking hole, and we're high, huh? We're up top. We're not at the bottom of the canyon looking up, going, wow, that's impressive. We're at the top looking down, going, oh, that would kill something. I mean, if anything fell over, whatever fell over, it would do that. So I'm like, well, I got to get some photos. So then I proceed to do what's known in the wrestling community as a death grip on the bar, right? I literally like wrapping my body around it. And I'm like, let me lean over and take a quick photo. And I snap the photo. And then the guy who helped me up, and he goes, hey, don't hold on to that thing too tight. And I'm like, what, is the metal bending like the last time? I realized that maybe I have an issue with heights, okay? Maybe I have an issue with heights. Maybe there's a problem. There's something that I need to do. Heights, not my fucking thing. And I've already taken one fall on not so level ground. So I take my photos. I find another place. I take another set of photos. I send photos to people, you know. Take a photo of the Grand Canyon with my scuffed up New Balance and post it online and go, wow, those New Balances be clean. Sure, it's a Grand Canyon in the background, but the New Balances are what I want you to focus on. And I spend, I don't know, 2.5 hours checking out a few little sites, and I go, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, it is impressive, and I'm sure if I had kids, it'd be even more impressive, but I was just like, oh, yeah, hole in the ground. Yep, got it. 20 miles this way. Still a hole in the ground. Okay, got it. Still, fantastic. Let's do it. So I hang out, do my thing, take my photos, get the fuck back on the road, drive, and I'm like, oh, man, you know what I've been craving this whole trip? Ding, there it is. Denny's. Now, back in the day when I was a youngin', back in the day with Grandpa Tim, Friday night, we used to go to Denny's for dinner. That was our night out. Boy, I'd get that prime rib and really piss my dad off because it was like $12 at the time. It's like, boy, you prime ribbing me to death. It's like, well, Dad, it's a $12 meal. But at that time, $12 was $12. And we needed every one of those 12. Little did I know. So I go in there, and it occurs to me, I'm like super close to a reservation because I am the only white person in there. Everyone's wearing masks, and I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. And they have a sign on the door that goes, hey, we're understaffed. Don't bitch about it, basically. And I'm like, well, that's fine. That's cool. So I sit down at the bar, because that's what you do when you're a single guy. You sit there and you go, hi. 20 minutes later, not even a lie, lady comes up to me. She goes, I'll be with you in just a minute. I'm like, okay, cool. Not a problem. I saw the sign. You're understaffed. I get it. Takes my order, gets me my drink. I scroll the internets while they make the food, et cetera, et cetera. Ding. Hey, Chelsea, order's up. There's my food. I can see it. And I'm like, oh. Proud of myself. Got an English muffin, got some toast, got a little bacon, a little sausage, scrambled eggs with cheese. I'm going to make myself a little breakfast sandwich. They don't even know I'm about to get one over on Denny's. Yes, I am. As soon as Chelsea brings me my meal. Now, my meal is less than 6 feet from me. I'd have to get up and go around, but I could get it. But Chelsea and her coworker are having an important conversation about a boy, about relationships. I don't know. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. I'm not trying to change everyone's life. I'm just trying to get my breakfast homemade sandwich before I get on the road and make my drive in 5 minutes past. And that's okay because those eggs were probably too hot. They just want everything to cool down, get to an acceptable eating temperature. 10 minutes past. Man, it must have been really, really hot. By minute 15, I'm starting to wonder, am I going to be able to choke down cold eggs? Is that what's going to happen? And finally, after her coronation ceremony or whatever the fuck was going on for 22 minutes, she comes over and goes, oh, I'm going to get you food in just a minute. And I'm like, well, you take your time, Miss Chelsea. It's going to have to be reheated anyway. I'm going to have to bring this back to life, kill it, cook it again just for it to be edible. But you take your time. Get my food. I eat. I pay. I leave. I go, man, this is cheap gas. $3.16. I can't wait. I'll get down into the twos again, and that's when I'll refill. And to do that, I'll just take this 2-lane road out into the middle of fucking $3.99 gas. You motherfucking got me, but I gotta pay it because I gotta get home, and I want to drive, and I want to get home as quickly as possible. So I pay it, and we keep driving, and we keep driving, and we go through New Mexico, and then we have to have this discussion. Okay. And is Slow and Steady going to win the race? Or is Speedy Gonzalez going to win the race? Am I going to stop here, like I said I wanted to, and observe the sights and all that stuff? Or am I going to want to get home to my own bed, to clean sheets and non-soiled floors by the puppy so I can, order that steam cleaner as quickly as possible so that I can make up for all these errors. What's it going to be? And I drove my ass all the way home. I arrived at like 4 o'clock in the morning, got home, sent a text to the dog watcher, said, hey, I'm home, I'm good looking out, thank you so much. Got home, loved on the dogs, right? Brought in my shit from the RV, plugged it in so I don't have to worry about it or fuck with it for a little while, and then decided, hey, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, we should probably go to bed. And we did. And then the next day, life sort of kind of just resumed. Went and shot a show over the weekend. Got strep throat somehow during all this fun adventures. And have then spent the past week recovering to the point where today is the first day that I could have a voice to record this podcast for you. Over 3,500 miles in 8 days, 9 days, 8 states. Maybe it's 8 days, 9 states, one of those. I'm just Texas, right? Amazing time with my dad. Fun time, even though I lost my ass in Vegas. Fun little thing when you go home from Vegas. Let's look at all that money that we spent and then what we could have bought with. Remember that thing we were like, I can't buy that. That's too much of a splurge. And then you're like, well, you just splurged that all over the blackjack table. And you're like, I know. And now I'm like, holy shit, new year, new me, about to be a reality. We're about to go into 2023. What am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do with my business? What is going to happen? You know what? I think I'm going to cover that on the next podcast. Give you some predictions, some ideas, some thoughts, some whatever you may call it. I'm going to do it. Share with you the road ahead for the business, the road ahead for the U.S. as I kind of see it, economy-wise. I don't know. We'll have fun with it. We'll have some jokes. We'll make some funny ha-has, and we'll have a good time. Thanks for listening, as always. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Thanks for letting me take you on this little memory lane of my most recent trip. I had an absolute blast. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad to be home for the foreseeable future and to, get some shit going in the right direction. I look forward to talking with you on the next one and I guess kind of sharing my plan of how I plan to do that.